step right up.
Black beans with chicken, please.
To see how they stuff one big burrito.
What's stuffed into a burrito? Everything but the kitchen sink.
At Chipotle, they fix and foil up 128 million burritos every year.
We start with cilantro lime rice, which is the core of all of the burritos. And then it gets either the vegetarian black beans or the pinto beans. Then you have a choice of one of our tremendous meats, salsa, sour cream, cheese, guacamole goes in there. We do everything the way we're supposed to, and you order it the way you're supposed to. It's about 1.5 pounds. So it's really stuffed.
You heard him. That typical Chipotle burrito weighs 1.5 pounds. And the ingredients inside each burrito are not taken lightly.
We have a grilled marinated chicken, grilled marinated steak. We have a naturally raised shredded pork, which is our carnitas. Spicy naturally raised shredded beef, which is the barbacoa.
Many of Chipotle's ingredients are homegrown, close by.
Here in Colorado, we have a farm about 40 miles away, and they supply us with our jalapenos and our onions.
Check out these jalapenos. They inspect and grade each one for quality and size right at the farm. Same for onions.
And when they dry up and are solid, these machines go in and literally lift them out of the ground. The onions are dumped out of a bulk box, and they go through a series of machines.
They clip the tops and roots off. Then they divide them up according to size. About 40 miles away, the fresh onions and jalapenos are ready for the next batch of Chipotle's famous guacamole.
We do guacamole 2 times a day, sometimes 3.
First, they mash close to 50 avocados. Then, they give it a kick with salt and citrus juice.
And now I'm putting in cilantro. Then we're going to put our onions in.
Next, the jalapenos turn up the heat.
And we're going to give it a little bit of a mix here.
They give the mixture one more mash. Perfect for topping hot tortilla chips or stuffing into a savory burrito.
There's over 60,000 possibilities, and the customers totally can design and build their own burritos.
Any way you like it.
We had one guy that wanted us to put the chips in his burrito. Okay, that's a combination. We thought it was a little bit weird, but that's his burrito, so we put the chips in his burrito for him.
This neighborhood burrito place really knows how to wrap it all up.
And that is how you stuff a Chipotle burrito.
Take a look at this freshly made 6-foot sub, big enough to feed a crowd of 20 to 25 people. Or a hungry basketball team. Subway has been making sandwiches since 1965 and now has 32,000 stores around the world. Incredibly, they sell more than 2,800 sandwiches and salads every minute, including 400,000 giant subs every year.
The longest sub that I've ever made is 24 feet. But one of the longest subs that we've had in Subway was over 400 feet long.
The key to making such huge sandwiches is the braided bread, which each store makes fresh every day. The bread dough comes from one of 18 bread plants around the world, making more than 1.8 billion loaves a year.
If you take that, bake them up, and put them end to end, we could go around the earth over 45 times.
To make the bread, workers weigh all the ingredients and put them into huge mixers. Each batch tips the scales at 1,500 pounds. The dough drops onto a bread line. Machines flatten the dough, trim it into squares, and roll it into breadsticks that are immediately frozen.
So we call them sticks. They're a loaf of bread that will be shipped to the restaurants and proofed and baked fresh every day.
Once they're in individual stores, the loaves are thawed and braided to create the bread for a giant sub. Once the bread rises or proofs, it goes into the oven to bake. When it's cool, a worker trims the top and tail of each loaf and fits them together. Then the process turns into an assembly line. They use over 6 pounds of meats and cheese plus all the fresh ingredients they chopped earlier.
We have fresh lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, onions. The best thing about them is they're totally customizable.
So the next time you work up a mighty appetite, just know there is a sandwich you can special order that's big enough to quench your hunger, and then some.
There's nothing else like a giant sub in all of the world.
May I have a grande non-fat latte?
It's the brew that gets so many Americans moving each morning.
It's the best coffee.
From lattes to cappuccinos and frappuccinos, Starbucks began redefining the morning cup of joe in the early 1970s.
People like the taste of Starbucks coffee because we have flavors for everyone.
Behind all those flavors are Starbucks' own coffee beans, and plenty of them. At the Starbucks roasting facility in South Carolina, they roast enough beans in 1 week to fill 24 million cups of coffee.
That is a lot of coffee.
So here's a question. Ever wonder where coffee actually comes from? Here's the answer. Trees.
It actually looks very much like a cherry, and inside the fruit is the seed or the coffee bean itself, which eventually ends up in your bag of coffee.
At this farm in Costa Rica, workers carefully pick the fruit. A milling process removes the coffee beans, which are green at first. Next, workers wash the beans, then lay them out to dry. But these beans aren't going anywhere yet. They'll develop flavor while resting in burlap bags for 8 weeks.
This is what the coffee looks like when it comes into the roasting plant.
Back in South Carolina, shipments of green beans flow right through the floor when they arrive at the roasting plant. Check this out. A giant vibrating machine cleans the beans by shaking off any leftover dust or debris. Next, the coffee heads to silos until roasting time.
Each of these silos are 40 feet deep and hold up to 180,000 pounds of green coffee.
Now it's time for the beans to hit the roaster.
The roasting machine looks like a large clothes dryer with large paddles, and the coffee will be tossed around and roasted over a period of 11 to 15 minutes.
The roaster heats the beans up to a toasty 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Workers keep a close eye on the time because each passing minute changes the taste of the coffee.
So early on, it has a very kind of sweet, kind of subtle, almost caramel-like smell, and as you roast coffee longer and longer, it becomes a bit more smoky until you get up to that kind of darkest roast for us, which is French roast.
Next, it's time for a taste test.
What makes Starbucks so special is how many times we actually taste the coffee. There's a team of tasters that will actually taste the coffee to make sure that it's met the expectation before it leaves the plant and is delivered to stores and customers.
First, they take a sniff,
which allows you to really connect with the aroma, knowing that 75% of what we taste is actually in the smell.
then a slurp.
And then we do a very nice large slurp, which allows the coffee to aerate throughout our mouth and really detect the quality and the flavor nuances that are present in each cup.
All roasted and ready, the beans zip up tubes on the way to packaging. There, workers test coffee bags for any air or leaks before heading to stores across the country. So whether you like your skinny, tall, extra hot, or whipped on top, Starbucks serves it up come brunch, lunch, or any time that coffee craving begins to brew. Before the sun rises over Denver, Colorado, bakers at Bruegger's Bagels are hard at work.
Hot Asiago, hot cinnamon sugar, hot fresh sun-dried, hot fresh wheat.
Here you find everything from everything bagels to blueberry, garlic, onion, even bagels that aren't round.
We probably make between 70 and 80 million bagels in a given year.
The first Bruegger's opened in Burlington, Vermont in 1983. And if you're wondering, no, there never was a Mr. Bruegger. But close.
Nord Brew was one of the founders. Bruegger's sounded like a fun name, so they took Bruegger's, and that's where the name came from.
They say the secret behind their bagels is the eggshell crust that took 2 years to perfect.
When you take a bagel like this and you press against it, it should crack, just like an eggshell.
The process starts with 5 simple ingredients: flour, water, malt, yeast, and salt. Did you know, like fine wine, bagels are actually aged? The longer the dough ages, the chewier it will be. Bruegger's Bagels develop their trademark texture after 2 to 4 days in a cooler. Here's the key to that famous crispy crust. It's boiling water. The dough comes up to room temperature before dropping into a 50-gallon kettle of boiling water. The bagels initially sink, then bob at the surface for about 1.5 minutes.
And what that does, it actually adds an eggshell crust, which is, again, one of those defining characteristics, and it gives it that fight, that little pull when you want to bite into it, and then we put them into the oven.
So that's how Bruegger's combines the crispy shell and the chewy center. Bakers can tell if they're ready by pressing on the skin of the bagel. Then it's time for some flavor, fit for any meal of the day. Next, the bagels slide into a rotating oven and bake at 470 degrees Fahrenheit. Bagels actually start out upside down. 4.5 minutes later, the baker reaches in and flips them. Now, right side up, the top's baked to a golden brown after 13 more minutes.
This is the way bagels have been done for the last 300 years. In the world today of highly processed foods, we have a very artisan process, very hands-on. This is a winker.
Bakers keep their eye on one bagel blemish.
Does that look really hokey?
It's called a winking bagel.
Fancy that. It's a wink. And this is a bagel that's had too little time in the kettle.
Bakers also try to prevent kissing bagels, or bagels that bake too close together.
So we have to break them apart. Actually, I think they're kind of cute.
And make no mistake about this bagel. In 2004, Bruegger's baked the world's biggest bagel, weighing in at 900 pounds. With all sorts of flavors, spreads, and sandwich combinations, you might be surprised to hear which bagel wins for most popular. It's a plain bagel.
It's a bit like ice cream. Vanilla is king. Well, for us, the plain bagel is really king. Sometimes you can't go wrong with a good thing. That and a cup of coffee is a great way to start a day.
Dig in and enjoy a sweet way to begin the day. Donuts delight fans with many shapes and sizes, flavors, fillings, and toppings. The very first donuts are thought to have arrived with Dutch settlers who brought their oil cooking techniques from Holland. Thus, the donut was born. At Hostess, these mini donuts have their own name, Donettes.
Hostess began making donuts in the 1930s as an inexpensive treat during the Depression era.
Today, they make millions of these little gems at the Hostess Bakery in eastern Kansas.
The Hostess company makes billions of donuts every year, and that's enough donuts to wrap around the world multiple times.
This is where the process begins. This is our gem donut mixing area. We make about 250 bowls a day.
Flour, sugar, and shortening start off the big batches of batter. Then, flavoring and other ingredients mix in. Would you believe this one batch is enough for about 23,000 donuts? Next, the batter raises up and fills the depositor. Then it's time for a swim in the hot oil for 60 seconds. Ever wonder why donuts have that hole in the middle?
The creation of the donut hole is thought to be the solution to prevent donuts from having a gooey center when they are removed from the fryers.
Once out of the fryer, the dough rings ride a cooling conveyor for 12 minutes. It's important every donut reaches a certain temperature before the next step, adding the coatings.
The range is 80 to 90 degrees. If you get outside that range, it's the coating does not stick to the product.
The cooled confection gets its crunch flavor as it passes under a glaze and a shower of sugar and coconut. If powdered sugar is more your style, check this out. The gems toss and turn, then tumble out of a coating machine. Conveyors move even more rings to an enrober for a good drenching of chocolate coating.
We go through about 100,000 pounds of chocolate a week.
Next, the chocolatey creations dry in another cooling tunnel. Then they meet up with all the other varieties at the packaging area.
We run 60 bags a minute through this line at about 22 donuts per bag.
The entire process to make every tasty handful from the fryer to the package takes just 15 minutes.
Families love the Hostess donuts because they're easy finger foods and they're great to grab when you're on the go.
Would you like to know where some of the most loyal donut lovers live? For that, you'll have to head to the largest city in Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky loves donuts the most in the U.S. Their favorite flavor is the chocolate donut, and they eat more donuts per capita than any other city in the U.S.
Whether you like them crunchy, sugary, or chocolatey, in a bag, sleeve, or up in the air, this morning munchie actually comes in handy any time of the day. Looking to sail through lunch? Well, don't bury your hunger. There's a restaurant that's been serving up the seas fast for decades.
It's crunchy, but it's moist on the inside. The fish is real tasty.
Well, in 1969, fast food restaurants weren't nearly as developed as they are today. And there weren't any seafood chains, fast food seafood chains in the country.
So, Long John Silver's was the first to climb on board, offering up traditional fish and chips. And today, Long John's has grown from its headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky to 1,300 restaurants nationwide, serving 45 million pounds of seafood every year.
1036, come get your fix.
To find enough food for this massive fish fry, Long John Silver's searches the seas. And to ensure the fish is fresh, no matter how far the restaurants are from the ocean, each catch is handled with care.
When we capture our fish in the Pacific Ocean, we immediately freeze it on board the ship and then rush it to our restaurant so it's frozen the whole time.
To keep customers lining up for more, the mates at Long John Silver's are always fishing for new recipes.
We're constantly working on a number of things. We're working on new flavors for shrimp, new flavors for fish. We're working on new coatings. We're working on new ways to keep the food warmer.
And to keep their old favorites ship-shape, the cooks in the test kitchen dip frozen fish planks in Long John's classic secret batter mix.
We still use that original recipe, and it's our trade secret.
But one trick to keeping the coating crunchy is to change the batter every 45 minutes. The fish is served with fries and a lesser-known side called crumblies.
Long John Silver's meals also come with our crumblies, which are tiny pieces of our batter that customers love.
On the menu these days, the fish have added a few friends. You'll find everything from clams to chicken to shrimp. And since Americans eat about 4 billion pounds of seafood every year, plenty of hungry souls are sailing in for a treasure of a meal. Feast your eyes on this salty snack that's whipping up quite a storm.
Tornado fries!
A tornado fry is a spiral cut potato. We put it on skewers, either 18 inches or 26 inches long, and so far everybody loves them.
They're good.
They're really good.
And they're fun.
Yeah.
The idea for tornado fries comes from South Korea, where they're sold by street vendors.
In South Korea, street vendors back in 2000 started doing this idea and thought it'd be a great idea and figured I could probably make a machine to do it quickly and efficiently. Hi guys, what can I get you?
There's been a firestorm of excitement ever since the tornado fry touched down on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey.
People say all sorts of things about how they love them, but funny enough, I really don't hear too many comments because they're too busy eating them, you know.
They're just fun to eat for everyone.
The way we make a tornado fry is we start with russet potatoes.
They jab a skewer right through the potato, then load it into a special cutter.
The cutter is basically a commercial grade motor going through a stainless steel blade. It cuts the potato, but it doesn't cut the stick. So basically, one continuous cut on the potato from beginning to end.
The potato stretches out along the stick, kind of like an accordion.
Just spread it apart like so. Make sure that there's even space. And then we drop it into canola oil, 350-degree canola oil for 90 seconds.
Once out of the oil, this twisty tater isn't complete without seasoning.
Don't forget to season it, buddy.
And finding the fry's perfect flavor is up to each customer.
Hold it like this and the seasoning will fall right on the chips, okay?
We use about 10 different toppings of seasonings, such as adobe, Parmesan garlic, salt and vinegar, jalapeno, but by far our most popular is schmutz.
Did he just say schmutz?
Schmutz.
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 It's true, schmutz is actually a combination of different seasonings.
It's a sweet and salty blend. We don't really say everything that's in there, but if you took all the other seasonings, we sell 10 times the amount of schmutz of everything else combined. I believe in Yiddish it means dirt, but you know, we started using it in the kitchen where it's the schmutz and it's stuck.
Part of the fun is trying to figure out what ingredients are inside.
It's garlic, salt, pepper. Very good. You want to try some?
Any way you like it, this giant fry measures over 1 foot long. Oh, and they can add on to that if you want.
Now, we have thought about creating the world's longest tornado fry, and we do occasionally get requests for really long ones, so unfortunately we don't have the sticks to make them that long, but we do have the ability to do that with our machine.
Sweet or salty, shared or solo, tornado fries fly out by the hundreds each day.
It's delicious. It's like a party in my mouth.
We love tomato fries.
Hi, welcome to Arby. Yes, I'd like a large order of curly fries.
They're crunchy, curly, and satisfy many nighttime cravings.
There you go. Have a great evening.
Arby's curly fries put a whole new twist on the traditional French fry.
It's crunchy on the outside, you get a little bit of the bite from that batter, but you get some seasoning too. There's some salt, some pepper, some garlic, some onion, and all that great flavor just works.
This curly companion to Arby's roast beef and other sandwiches dates back to 1988. And get this, they cook up more than 125 million pounds of the crazy taters every year.
It's comparable to the weight of over 170 747 airplanes. It's incredible.
It all starts with piles of potatoes so high, whoa, you can ski down them. At this processing plant in southern Washington, potatoes arrive by the truckload.
For the Arby's curly fry, we bring in 40 to 50 semi-loads of potatoes per day, and each truck is approximately 30 to 35 tons of potatoes.
Workers unload the potatoes and send them on their way through a channel of rushing water.
It helps to clean the potatoes, as well as it's an easy way to transport them versus belts and conveyors.
The water system traps rocks and other debris that were picked up in the potato fields. The potatoes also separate according to size. And check this out. Water propels the potatoes through pipes to a cutter. Inside the pipes, the spuds sail to the blades at 60 miles per hour.
So in the cutting process, the potato is fixed going through the knife, and the knife spins against the potato to generate the curly fry.
The freshly cut coils rush on in waves, and some of them might surprise even the biggest fry fans.
A great story from 2008. A young lady from Hendersonville, North Carolina, found a curly fry that when she pulled it from end to end, measured over 2.5 feet long.
Want to know the secret for fries that are crispy on the outside and soft on the inside? Arby's blanches the potatoes for 20 minutes in hot water to deactivate enzymes.
In the blanching process for the curly fry, the purpose is to develop the texture of the product. So when you bite into an Arby's curly fry, you're gonna have a nice baked potato interior.
As the fries dry, workers add water to a dry mix of garlic, onion, salt, and other spices. This becomes the batter.
The curly fries go through the batter applicator. The fries go under a waterfall of batter that coats the fries. And then they proceed under a series of air knives to help smooth out the batter before they go into the next step, which is the frying process.
It takes just 30 seconds in the hot oil.
We fry the product in oil at 0 grams of trans fats at approximately 360 to 375 degrees.
The fries only partially cook, then head straight to the freezer. The rest of the cooking happens at the restaurants when customers order up any size of curly fries.
You know, some people like to dip these in cheddar cheese sauce. I like ketchup, and I like the horsey sauce as well.
Any way you like them, this curly creation is the perfect late night snack.
There you go. Have a great evening. Come and see us again.
Since opening its doors in 1954, Burger King has become a worldwide burger giant. The only chain that sells more is McDonald's.
The founder of Burger King used to say people had two things to spend, money and time, and they'd much rather spend their money.
And he was right. Fast food was on the rise. Today, Burger King has over 11,000 stores in 65 countries. In the US alone, they sell enough fries in a year to make 7 trips to the moon and back. And we know you've been wondering about the King. Here's the scoop. He was unveiled in the late 70s and his commercials ran during children's programming. Today, he's morphed into a hip character whose commercial campaign is designed to appeal to grown-ups, too. In 1957, the King of Burgers really hit it big with the introduction of the Whopper.
A Whopper has always been about size.
A half-pound, fully loaded burger that sold for just 37 cents.
The Whopper was born because they figured out that the customer would pay for great quality, big, fabulous burger.
BK is all about the burger. but they believe it's their slogan that really sets them apart. For the last 30 years, patrons of Burger King have gotten the opportunity to have it your way.
I like it a little spicy.
But what exactly does that mean?
Having it your way allows you to be in control. You tell us the way you want it, and that's the way we'll deliver it to you.
In fact, Burger King claims there are over 200,000 ways to have your Whopper, and cheese is the #1 modification.
My Whopper is a no pickles, add the mustard Whopper.
I'm a big fan of the pickle, so I get to have extra pickles on mine.
Every year, over 308 million pounds of beef move through the fast food chain. So what exactly is it that makes their burgers different?
It starts with 100% USDA beef. It's flame broiled, and it's big.
The standard Whopper starts with a quarter-pound beef patty nestled inside a sesame seed bun. Then it's topped with mayo, lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, and ketchup.
The Whopper has not changed much since it was introduced. It is still an all-beef patty, flame broiled, made just the way you want it.
But if the old school recipe doesn't wet your whistle, the Whopper development team has come up with a few regional takes on the classic Sammy.
On the Texas Double Whopper, we add jalapenos and mustard to give a zesty accent.
And for those looking for something more, BK is getting bigger by the day.
If you have the appetite of a lumberjack, you can get the quad stacker. 4 patties, 8 slices of bacon, and 4 pieces of cheese.
You can get whatever you want specifically on it. I'm pretty picky about my burgers, so that's nice.
It's 12:30 on a Wednesday, the height of the lunch rush in hectic Midtown Manhattan. But it's not some trendy bistro compelling these New Yorkers to line up under the hot sun. Inside this little building lies the city's most in-demand lunch.
You know, it's one of those things where the more people you see, typically the better the place is.
Get to the front of the line and you're at the Shake Shack.
Can I get a double shack burger with the burgers?
The Shake Shack opened in 2004.
Plain burger up.
Right in the middle of Madison Square Park.
There you go, thank you.
Where it became a huge hit.
Check number 50.
But why would New Yorkers, who aren't really known for their patience, be willing to wait in such a line?
They come for the burgers. Yeah. They love the burgers here. That's what they're famous for.
The meat for our burgers is ground fresh for us every day, and it's a specific blend of sirloin and brisket with a certain ratio of fat to lean.
And then we have a famous Shack sauce.
The combination of mayo, tomato, mustard, garlic, and Chipotle Tabasco is just the right topping for a primo patty. Some 1,500 people a day can wait for as long as an hour to step up to the Shack. Some are quick to utilize the benefits of modern technology.
You have to get the Shake Shack cam, which is this camera that's right on top of the Shake Shack. You can get it online and it shows you how long the line is so that you can perfectly time to optimize when you're gonna go to the Shake Shack.
On times when there isn't a line, if you go on and look at the Shack cam, that's more of a reason to get down here and not have to wait.
And in an area where the masses are surrounded by so many options, it's the burgers that keep them coming back to the Shack despite the line. At Five Guys,
regular cheese, little cheese.
Burgers and fries are the specialty of the house. The grill proudly sports very few frills and makes meat patties like you do at home.
I love coming to a place that's got real hamburger meat that's fresh in the morning. If I can find those places, that's where I'll stop every time.
The Five Guys are actually 5 brothers who began grilling up their homemade hamburgers in Virginia in the mid-1980s.
Okay, we'll start with the oldest. My oldest brother, Jim, and that'd be me, Matt, and then we have Chad, and then we have Ben and Tyler. All brothers.
Their love for mouth-watering meat and potatoes now stretches across America. This Five Guys restaurant in Colorado Springs, Colorado, cooks up well over 1,000 burgers every day. Getting ready for hungry hamburger fans starts early in the morning. They slice veggies and form fresh ground beef into perfect patties, all by hand.
The freshness is really what we focus on, and keep in mind, When we do our prep in the morning, we prep for only one day.
Then the number of people who walk in the door determines how many patties sizzle on the grill.
As soon as that customer walks in the door, you're going to hear somebody up front yell, 2 in the door, 1 in the door, 3 in the door. That's the cue to put some patties on the grill.
They watch the outer edges of the patty to turn a grayish color. Then give them a flip.
Flip that, and we're going to give it a good press and level.
The press keeps the burgers juicy, and it's the juices that signal when it's time for another turn.
We can train these guys where they can look at a burger and say, you know what, that burger's done.
We're going to swing that right over here.
But this is only half the meal.
Now, you can't have baseball without a bat. You can't have a burger without fries.
Sacks of potatoes surround customers in the restaurant. A board shows where the spuds come from each day. Would you believe 5 guys fries up 100 million pounds of potatoes each year? The fries start with a slice, then soak in water. They pre-cook the potatoes for a couple of minutes.
So that gives us that perfect fry that the inside of that is like a baked potato.
Then, when orders come in, a final drop of the peanut oil crisps the outside.
Pretty much goes from the dirt to the bag, into the sink, into the fryer, and into your mouth. And that's it. I mean, there's very few steps.
Their secret for freshness is to stay low tech. No microwaves, freezers, or even timers here.
We want them to leave and go, how do they make that burger so good?
This all-American meal takes just 5 to 7 minutes to make.
Here you are, sir. You have a great day.
And for some, it takes even less time to eat. These wings are flying out of kitchens across the country.
We go through an amazing 52 million pounds of wings a year, 1 million pounds a week.
Buffalo Wild Wings opened in Kent, Ohio in 1982. Today, there are more than 500 restaurants. Their most popular sauces are spicy garlic and honey barbecue.
We'll go through about 2 million gallons of the various different sauces over the course of a year.
Out of their 14 signature sauces, only one can make your ears steam and your eyes run. In the 1990s, customers asked the restaurant to turn up the heat, and boy, did they get it.
There's a nice burning sensation in my mouth there.
This crazy hot concoction is a Buffalo Wild Wings secret recipe.
My eyes are starting to water now. I'm on my 3rd one.
And it's called the Blazin' Wing Sauce. Habaneros are a main ingredient, along with a lineup of some other potent peppers.
Some chili pepper, jalapeno puree, some fresh lemon juice, some celery, some Worcestershire, some onion, garlic.
I think I'm done now. 3 is all I can handle.
Set, go!
There's even a Blazin' Wing challenge. 12 wings in 6 minutes.
By the 3rd, 4th wing, it's extremely hot, and by the 8th or 9th wing, everything's numb.
If you're up for this challenge, just remember, water only makes the heat worse. Milk soothes the burning mouth much faster. Don't adjust your TV. A strikingly familiar soda now has a burst of blue.
The taste is raspberry, which you normally wouldn't associate with blue, and yet it absolutely fits, and it gives you that note of berry at the end that totally works with the color.
Mountain Dew Voltage is a supercharged soda that was hand-picked by consumers. Fans taste tested several new dews back in 2008.
The consumers decided what color those products were going to be. They decided what the name was going to be. They decided what the design was going to be. They really brought this product to life in the way that they best felt passionate about how it fit into the Dew family.
And it was Voltage that got the most votes on the internet. At this Pepsi plant in Las Vegas, Nevada, workers pump out 2 million bottles of the Blue Dew every day.
We're currently in the room where we mix our ingredients to make our Mountain Dew Voltage.
Workers mix water with a special powder of preservatives, caffeine, and flavor. Then a secret liquid gives Voltage its blue color. There's also an ingredient for a little bit of zing. It's ginseng.
Ginseng adds a bit of a natural energy kick. So you've already got a great energy kick with Mountain Dew, and people expect that from the product. This one gives you a little bit more oomph as well.
Next up, they add a secret Mountain Dew formula. And here's an interesting fact. Did you know the original Mountain Dew recipe includes oranges?
It gives it that real distinct, citrusy, indescribable taste.
For the blue batches, they pour in jugs of lemon and raspberry flavor.
Our ingredients for our Mountain Dew Voltage will take about 2 hours to mix. And once they're ready, they're pumped over to our holding tanks.
Meanwhile, workers test batches of voltage for taste and carbonation levels. Ever struggle to open a pop bottle? Get this, another test checks the tightness of the caps.
You want to be able to open it with not too much strength, and that way it's not too tight and it's not too loose. It's just right.
When it comes to the bottle, I bet you didn't know each one begins about the size of a pill bottle.
This is a preform. This is how our Mountain Dew voltage bottle starts out.
The preforms travel up a conveyor to an oven. Check this out. The little bottles hitch a ride on a fast-moving loop while heating up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
And it goes into our blow molder, where high-pressure air goes in and blows the bottle inside the 20-ounce mold, and it creates a 20-ounce bottle that we use to go into our filler.
The transformation happens lightning fast inside the machine.
The machine behind me can make over 12 bottles per second.
Filling the bottles is next. At the line, they mix the voltage with water and a charge of CO2.
That's our carbonation that we all love to have, a little fizzle that tastes great.
In all, it takes 3 hours to make and a lot less time to drink. For soda fans, it's a high-voltage dew in true blue fashion. At birthday parties, it's almost as common as the cake itself.
If you think about when you were a kid and somebody said pizza party, you would completely lose your mind.
Pizza's here!
Domino's Pizza has been delivering dinner since the 1960s.
When Domino's was founded, it was very much about delivery. Delivery was a new concept in the pizza category.
Back when Domino's started in Michigan, they used 3 dots on a domino to signify their different locations.
That logo was designed when we had only 3 stores, and now we have almost 9,000. The plan was to add a dot for every store that was open. Obviously, it wouldn't fit on the logo today.
These days, supply chain centers across the country help Domino's deliver 400 million pizzas every year.
We're at our Michigan Supply Chain Center, and we're in the dough room. This is where we produce all the dough.
Workers begin by filling giant mixing bowls with water, oil, yeast, salt, sugar, and ingredients from what they call a goodie bag.
So what we have here is a goodie bag. It's all of our secret ingredients that go in to make our crust the best.
Flour tops off the batch. Then, workers roll the bowl to a gigantic mixer.
We hold about 500 pounds of dough in one of these, depending on the formula. So a little bigger than your average mixing bowl.
After mixing for 5 minutes, the dough takes a ride up an elevator and drops into a hopper.
The dough has just been put into a hopper. It's extruded and it's cut into the appropriate size pieces. Right now we're making large dough balls for large pizzas.
This rounding machine smooths out all the edges.
It's essential that a dough ball is round because we hand stretch the dough in store, and if you don't have a round dough ball, you won't have a round pizza.
Workers place the dough on trays and stack them up nearly 7 feet high. They keep the temperature at a chilly 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so the dough balls don't expand until they reach Domino's stores.
When we're ready to use it, we want to bring it out and let it warm up for a few hours so it starts to proof. It starts to age, as it were. It starts to gain some great flavor. It gets some volume to it.
Now it's time to get this pizza party started.
We're making pizza here today.
They sprinkle cornmeal on the dough to keep it from sticking to the table and their hands.
We're gonna stretch it out using our hands. We hand stretch everything at Domino's Pizza, no machines here.
Next, they form the dough onto a baking screen.
We put our pizzas on screens so that we've got something to actually support the weight of the pizza when we put it into the oven.
Sauce is next, and check out how it spreads so smoothly thanks to something called a spoodle.
This is a spoodle. It was invented by one of our team members in a store, and what it does is it holds exactly the right amount of sauce, but it has a flat bottom, which allows you to spread the sauce. So, kind of 2-in-1, really fast application.
Next, things get real cheesy.
Get it spread out evenly, make sure it's all covered up, so there's cheese on every single bite.
Finally, it's time for toppings and a trip to the oven. The pizza bakes at 465 degrees Fahrenheit, and in about 7 minutes, it's ready.
On any given Friday night, we could have as many as 120 pizzas going through the oven in a single hour.
Here's a fun fact for you. What people tend to order most on their pizza depends on where they live.
You're gonna see a lot more cheese pizzas when you get to the east, a lot more meat toppings in the Midwest, and as you get out to the west, you'll see a lot more vegetables.
And when it comes to birthday parties, kids like to keep it simple.
Kids are most prone to eat just a simple cheese pizza or a single topping pizza, which is most often pepperoni. Who doesn't love pizza?
It's billed as the coolest drink on earth, and it's definitely one of the loudest. The slushy sip called the Slurpee started at a Kansas drive-in in 1959 when Omar Knedlik served customers bottles of pop he kept in deep freeze. The frozen frappe was a hit, and soon Omar developed a machine that dispensed his cool idea he called an ICEE. In 1965, ICEE started pouring out of 7-Eleven stores, and while ICEEs are still available nationwide, you won't find them at the red and green. In 1967, they gave this simple combination of syrup, water, and carbon dioxide a name change.
Our advertising agency, as they were listening to people enjoy it, heard this slurping sound, and a la came the name Slurpee that's been with us since 1967.
And the cold hard fact is that since 1965, over 6 billion Slurpees have been pulled and sipped worldwide. But who holds the title Sultan of Slush?
We sell the most Slurpees in Manitoba, Canada. It's interesting when we get into the United States, Detroit is the highest volume area, not necessarily a warm weather area also.
And while original flavors like Coke and Cherry remain the most popular polls, new flavors are on tap every year.
That's sour cherry.
Super sour products are very, very hot in the candy industry right now. So we've introduced super sour watermelon and super sour apple, and our most recent introduction was super sour cherry.
But no matter the flavor, each Slurpee has a chilling criteria.
The perfect consistency for the Slurpee is it's 28 degrees. It's got a kind of a wet consistency to it. If it's too cold, the product becomes too dry and the ice and the syrup separates. So 28 degrees, just the right size ice crystals.
A Slurpee also has to deliver on a certain medical condition.
I'm not a doctor, but brain freeze is a real thing. What I understand is as the cold Slurpee passes over the roof of your mouth, it creates kind of a referred pain. And this particular one refers up to your brain.
I drank too much at once.
It's an effect so unique, 7-Eleven made brain freeze a registered trademark and have documented reactions.
The first one is, oh man, that hurts. Or, oh God, I drank that too fast. But the funny thing about it is, as soon as the pain goes away, you never see someone set their glass down.
The secret to avoiding the headache: take it slow and avoid the roof of your mouth. And while there is a certain way to drink a Slurpee, there's also a special way to make one.
We developed a clear cup because Slurpee is an art form, and many people like to mix flavors. And I'm gonna pour in some cherry, some Coke, and then I wanna get a little blue in there. I need a little more cherry, a little Mountain Dew, and then I'm gonna top it off with some blue. That's why we have clear cups.
And the trick to filling them to the brim is the Slurpee Slap, an age-old technique that lets out the air and lets in more slurp. It's a kaleidoscope of cool colors that tends to bring out the kid in everyone.
I feel the brain freeze coming.
There's a pizza man at the door, but what's inside this box might surprise you. Help yourself to a slice of pizza cookie cake. It's fresh from the ovens of Mrs. Fields.
We took our product to the next level, incorporating our most popular flavor, which is a chocolate chip cookie base, and our triple chocolate cookie, obviously represented as pepperonis.
This sweet treat replaces regular pizza at lots of late-night study sessions.
I know when I was in college, midnight cram sessions turned into all-night cram sessions because I probably procrastinated a little bit more than I wanted to, but it would have been a nice treat for me to have.
At the Mrs. Fields Test Kitchen in Salt Lake City, Utah, they mix up their famous chocolate chip cookie recipe, which is the crust for this pizza. First up, they combine granulated sugar, brown sugar, baking powder, and salt. Next, they mix in butter. Now here's a tip for bakers at home. Mrs. Fields makes sure the butter is cold. This helps the dough hold together for better baking.
That is one of our secrets to get the correct Mrs. Fields texture, is how we add the butter and how we mix it.
Eggs, vanilla, and flour join the batch. Then you can't have chocolate chip cookies without, well, chocolate chips.
This will do approximately a 10-pound batch. When we do a full production run, it will go up to a 1,500 to 1,700 pound batch.
At the factory, it takes 14 regular-sized cookies to form the base of a cookie pizza. Workers carefully press them together in a baking tray.
And then take our specialty pepperoni, which is our triple chocolate nibblers, and place 12 of them on top of the pizza cookie cake.
This may look like a pizza, but don't forget it's actually one colossal cookie.
The Mrs. Fields pizza cookie cake is about 2 pounds worth of dough before the baking process.
That's right, 2 pounds of cookie dough. The pizza cookies bake at 290 degrees Fahrenheit.
A normal rack will hold about 60 pizza cookie cakes at one time.
Time's up less than half an hour later. Next, workers wheel the cakes into a chiller so the cookie doesn't melt during shipping.
We were able to produce about 960 pizza cookie cakes in an hour.
Each cookie slides into a wrapper and finally, that familiar box.
And what that is to kind of get the feel that it really is coming from a neighborhood pizza parlor.
Sure, this pizza is more sweet than savory, but it scores high with anyone needing a late-night fix.
The cookie cake is great to cure those midnight munchies or maybe help a student get through a midnight cram session. It's definitely something that anyone would be excited to receive.
It's a mystery treat that comes with a couple of clues.
It's a combination of a soft serve ice cream and a milkshake, and it's something you eat with a spoon.
The answer? A Frosty. A frozen dessert staple at Wendy's restaurants since the first store opened in 1969 in Columbus, Ohio. Frosty was actually one of 5 menu items, including burgers and chili, on the original menu created by founder Dave Thomas.
The Frosty was brought about because Dave essentially loved thick milkshakes, and he wanted a dessert on our menu that people could eat with a spoon. He also wanted a dessert that, from a flavor perspective, wouldn't interfere with the great flavor of our hamburgers. So that's how he arrived at the kind of light chocolatey flavor that our Frosty has.
And Dave used a classic combo to get the unique flavor just right.
The flavor profile is a combination of chocolate and vanilla. In fact, originally Dave had one Frosty machine and he used to mix the flavors himself. Today, we have 9 production facilities around the country who actually mix the components and ship directly to our stores.
A refrigerated mix made up of milk, cream, sugar, and a proprietary cocoa mix arrives at stores in a 2.5-gallon container. Every morning, fresh Frosty mix pours into sanitized machines specifically designed by engineers at Wendy's.
It takes about 10 minutes to freeze in the machine, and during that time, blades inside the machine are turning and the product is freezing, and the blades help incorporate air. And once that process is completed, the Frosty's ready to serve.
And when Frosty exits the machine, it does so at a cool 20 degrees Fahrenheit. But these Frosties aren't for paying customers. They're for research. Because here at their Innovation Center in Columbus, Wendy's is constantly testing food items, including the Frosty. Today, they're tweaking the dessert by offering some sweet toppings to go with the chocolate.
The Fix and Mix Frosty idea came about because we learned through an array of research that people like to add toppings to desserts. So what we did was we looked at some of the most powerful and popular flavor options and topping options, and we arrived at what we call the Fix and Mix Frosty topping options.
After testing and tasting, the results are in.
We took a long, hard look at what other toppings or what other candies were out there that were very, very popular, and that's how we arrived at the Oreo cookie, the M&M, and the Butterfinger flavor options, which are key additions to our Frosty menu item.
These new toppings are helpful in selling more than 25 million gallons of Frosty a year. And while the spoon is the tool of choice for eating most of that, there is another way that Dave Thomas never considered: Frosty on French fries.
I like the salt and the sweet and the weirdness, but yeah, it tastes, it's definitely a different little taste, you know.
Get ready! A whole herd of animals is invading the school cafeteria.
Rhino, an elephant, a camel, and a lion.
Zoo Crew nuggets are chicken nuggets that look like they just escaped from the zoo.
Kids love animals. They love chicken nuggets, so it's a perfect match. Chicken nugget with a nice crispy coating, a little garlic hints to it.
They're really soft and juicy.
When it comes to these shapes, each nugget has its own detail.
Hump on the camel and the horn on the rhino, the trunk on the elephant, and the lion is the king of the jungle, so we had to include him.
But not every animal makes the cut.
We really wanted to do a giraffe, but their long necks just tended to break off.
At the Breakbush Brothers factory in Westfield, Wisconsin, they turn out a stampede of 3 million animals a year. The process starts with 50-pound blocks of meat.
We get frozen chicken blocks of chicken breast meat delivered in.
The blocks ride an elevator and fall into a machine that chops them into smaller pieces. A grinder squishes the meat down to 1/8 of an inch. When it comes out, it looks like spaghetti noodles. Then a salty brine solution splashes into the meat mixture. After it thoroughly mixes, they dump the meat into a machine with die plates inside that press the meat into shapes.
Chicken breast meat will go into the forming machine where it'll be formed into animal shapes, rhinoceros, lions, tigers. It will then come down for a batter application.
Freshly formed, the animals ride a conveyor belt and dip down to swim through the batter. Then workers dump in bags of breading that add even more flavor. The animals float in a shallow pool of batter as breadcrumbs shower on top. They use 7 tons of breading every day.
This line will produce about 4,500 pounds an hour of those animals, which is 65,000 pieces per hour.
After a quick trip through the oven, they check the animal's temperature. Heated up to at least 180 degrees Fahrenheit, they follow each other into the freezer.
At this point, our product is fully cooked. It'll go around the corner, go into our spiral freezer. It'll be in there approximately 33 minutes at 40 degrees below zero.
Then, these zoo creatures hit the bags and the boxes. You can find these animals anywhere there are kids with a wild appetite.
Our Zoo Crew product is primarily sold in schools, daycares, amusement parks and fairs, convenience stores, really anywhere where fun food is served.
So the next time you want a snack on a stampede of animals, just get in line in the lunchroom. There's a factory in Tulare, California, marking the spot of the creamiest, dreamiest job.
And when you meet people on the street, they're like, where do you work? You know, you work at Haagen-Dazs. Oh, wow. You know, so it gives you that Willy Wonka feeling like, I need that silver ticket to get in.
The man with the original golden ticket was entrepreneur Reuben Mattis. In the 1950s, he and his mother, Leah, sold fruit ices and ice cream pops out of a basement in the Bronx.
Reuben was doing very well in the business and wanted to take it to the next level. So he created the first super premium ice cream brand to go on the market.
To be called ice cream, you've got to have at least 10% milk fat. But more fat is needed to be the cream of the crop.
Whereas a super premium ice cream is anywhere between 14 to 15% fat all the way up to 18.
That creaminess was Mattis's winning ticket, and in 1961, he launched his first 4 flavors: vanilla, coffee, strawberry, and chocolate. He also gave the ice cream a puzzling name.
The name Haagen-Dazs means absolutely nothing. Reuben wanted to create an aura of European craftsmanship when he developed the name.
Today, Haagen-Dazs means super rich ice cream. And the smooth operators at the plant are freezing up 60 different flavors every year.
But we're averaging anywhere between 20 million to 25 million gallons a year.
The process starts outside, where tankers deliver cream and other liquid ingredients from a local dairy. Once inside, 6,000-gallon tanks blend creamy and sugary ingredients together with flavors like cocoa.
And it's an all-natural blend. There's nothing artificial, no flavoring, artificial flavors or preservatives.
While the chocolate is waiting its turn, a batch of vanilla Swiss almond is already downstairs, streaming through a continuous freezer.
A continuous freezer freezes about 50% of the water out of the product. So we take a liquid product and freeze it down to a semi-solid at 22 degrees.
The reason that we do that is to maintain the chocolate-covered almonds in suspension in the mix. Otherwise, they'll tend to sink to the bottom.
But before the ice cream cup gets its fill, it gets a clean sweep.
We vacuum the container out to make sure the consumer gets nothing in the cup but ice cream.
And as the Frosty filling hits the cup, so do tiny air bubbles. After each pint gets a freshness seal and a lid, the bubbles go for a ride.
We flip the product upside down in hopes that the air bubble will travel to the bottom of the cup.
That way, when folks peel the seal off, the ice cream has what they call a flush fill. But before any ice cream leaves the plant, willing workers happily file into the tasting room. They're looking for how the creaminess feels in the mouth, how the ice cream bars crunch, and how even the distribution looks in the pints.
That's good. That's very good.
And one thing that sets Haagen-Dazs apart happens when you get it home.
You can take most products right out of the freezer and it's very scoopable because of the air content. Haagen-Dazs is different. Haagen-Dazs is a very dense product, so it must be tempered to around 5 degrees.
That will take 10 to 15 minutes, and when it reaches that melting stage, the flavor peaks.
And the flavor profile is extremely different versus when it's completely hardened.
And when the flavors are so rich, a little goes a long way. That would explain why 60% of Haagen-Dazs sales revolve around the pint. Surprisingly, customers don't ask for larger containers. But what they do wonder about is research.
The main question that we get asked is, where do you find your Haagen-Dazs taste testers? I want to sign up.